Okay, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. We are the reporter from Group 3, and we are tasked to report the development of science in China. So let's start without further ado. When you hear the word China, what comes on your mind? Probably the first thing that would pop up in your mind is COVID-19. But today, we're not going to tackle such thing. Rather, we're going to focus on the development of science in China. So let's know more about China. China, or better known as People's Republic of China, is located in Southeast Asia along the coastline of the Pacific Ocean. It is an area of 9.6 million square kilometer, making it the third largest country in the world after Russia and Canada. Considered also as the most populous country in the world. Science in China has a long history and developed quite independently in the Western science. This is according to Nedham, who has researched widely on the development of science and technologies in China, its effect in culture, and the transference of these principles. China is one of the ancient civilizations with substantial contribution in many areas of life, may it be in medicine, astronomy, science, mathematics, arts, philosophy, and music, among others. Chinese civilization have greatly influenced many of its neighbor countries like Korea, Japan, Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Myanmar, and other countries that belong to the Old Silk Road. When we say Old Silk Road, it is an ancient trade route that linked the Western Road with the Middle East and Asia. So, let's focus on the development of science first in the medicine. So, Chinese are known for traditional medicines, the product of centuries and experiences and discoveries of the Chinese people. Traditional Chinese medicine is a medical system that has been used for 1,000 years to prevent, diagnose, and treat disease. It aims to restore the body balance and harmony between the natural opposing forces of yin and yang. Also, the traditional Chinese medicine describes the energy flow within the human body. Back then, when the people feel ill, example ako, naglayan ako matsyag, wala ko yung palapit sa doctor, makapalapit ko sa physician. So the physician will diagnose you in various observation. First, by looking at you. They will inspect you in all aspects. Tulukon kanina sa mata, sa lunggan, sa bibig mo, sa dila mo kag, sa imo nga ilong. Yes, tanan ang aspect na tulok nila as also listening and asking, and most importantly, ang feeling the pulse. Ang pinaka-importante sa traditional Chinese medicine is ang pagtanaw sa aton dila. Ang aton dila nagka-correspond sa heart naton nga organ. So, ang sunod is ang pagpulso sa aton. Kay may ara na sa tatlo ka aspect sa aton pulso. Ang Kan pose, Guan pose, and Chi pose. May mga corresponding organs man na sa kag also ang energy flow ta. Mabatsyag da. Ang physician is maalam na da katama sa paghibalo kung ano yung masakit. So after nila ka-diagnose from those aspect, they will give you some herbal medicine that correspond to that illness. So the most commonly used herbal medicine is lotus flower. It is used for bleeding disorders such like as nosebleed, irritability, and ang hilanat or fever. Next is astragalus, commonly used in soups and tea. Roots or ang ugat is ginagamit sa isang symptoms of diabetes and improve blood flow. We also have dong quai, an herb with green-yellow flowers. Root has been used to treat symptoms of menopause and ease pain caused by menstrual cramps. All good for the girls. Ginger or luya. The underground steam has been used to prevent nausea and ease swelling joints. Kodzo, flowering vine. The roots has been used to ease alcohol use disorder. Licorice, the root has been used to ease sore throat and cough. Actually, it can be also used kuno as mouthwash. Ginseng, the roots has been used to stimulate energy and improve brain functions. Kichandra, berries have been used to improve liver function and overall being. Also, lang sila nagabase sa pagbulong paagi sa plants. They also use some animals to cure human illnesses. Some of these are tiger. The bones of Panthera tigris have been used to treat arthritis and other joint ailments. Black bear, beer bile o lang apdos ang also ginagamit sa pagbulong sa naisari nga masakit like sang mas balatian sa atay, kag sakit sang ulo, seahorse. Used as treatment for kidney ailments, circulatory problems, and impotence. Mas ka impotence, di ba, ng hindi kakabata. So, ginagamit nila ang seahorse. Of course, guys, let's take note nga hindi na nila ginakaon below. Of course, gina-process man na sa. Pero, ang remedy is natural plant chapon. Okay? Okay. Since that the traditional Chinese medicine believe that the human body has its own functioning system and they are healthy as long their body system remain balanced, they also emphasize in tactile stimulation. They're into touch. Nga naga-touch sila sa body since nagahatag sila masahe. Tapos, one of the medical practices also is the acupuncture. As you can see in the picture, it is a technique which stimulates specific points in the body, usually by inserting thin needles through the skin. Let's take note, hindi lang na basta-basta ang pagtuslok-tuslok. Kasi mo, ay okay, galain akong chance of tusokon ko diyo. Hindi. Nabali may ang physician maalam na kung ang nag-acupuncture practice is kabalo na kung diin sa nga part ang makapadula sang kinabatsyang mo nga sakit. Also, nagagamit man sila sang cupping, heated cups to create suction on your skin, herbs as what we mentioned earlier, meditation, oxybution, and Tai Chi. So, let us also remember traditional Chinese medicine does not only focus on treating the disease, rather, it looks at you entirely. And it uses natural remedy to cure your disease. Okay, we are done in the field of medicine. Let's proceed on the technology. So, Chinese are also known to develop many tools. Among the famous discoveries of Chinese civilization were called the four great inventions. And number one, sa iya nga na-produce ang Chinese civilization is the compass. The oldest picture of a magnetic compass from 200 BC was using a small spoon as the needle was thrown down upon the table that was engraved with a compass point. Early compasses were used for divination rather than navigation. In Han Dynasty, 202 BC or up until 202 after that, the compass is called sound pointer. It was used by travelers in China to detect winds and waters of Earth. And Chinese sailors used compass for navigation in 11th century. At this time, through 15th century, China developed the largest navy and was the greatest sea power in the world through the use of compass. Next is the paper making. In China, the most common source of paper is the bark of mulberry trees. It is according to guys, 1994, page 182. So, the production of paper making takes a long time. Una, papili na sila sa certain bark of trees or certain guasas. Ang piliin na nila ang pinakanaming nga quality, include na nila sa paper making. Mapusid sila sa next process, which is paper pulp. It takes about 3,000 times pounding, guys, pag una sa i-proceed sa next step, which is cut them into small pieces, kag pinuhon pag yun. Sa after that, nga napino na sa, isulod na sa dako nga pot or pool of water, kag na da siya melt. After melting, certain specially made bamboo curtains dive into the pool with balance to pick up the rough paper. After that, ipamalho na sa. Pag nagmala na sa, i-check na nila if the paper is properly made. Okay, proceed na sa next. But kung hindi na sa properly made, ibalik naman na sa process 1. And the paper is called swan paper. X-U-A-N. Swan paper, okay. Originally, paper was rough, but eventually over time, the making of paper was improved with sizing, dyes, and the use of molds made out of bamboo strip. Paper was first used by the Chinese for wrapping, and it was not until the 3rd century that the paper replaced bamboo silk and wood as writing medium. Let's proceed in the gunpowder. The first known recipe is the saltpetre. The principal ingredients of gunpowder can be found in a Chinese military manual written by Wu Xing-chong Yao from 1044 according to Bork 1948. Chinese use gunpowder in fireworks for religious purposes, and they also use in cannons, rockets, and guns. Rocket arrows were used in 1126 to defend the Kaifeng. Also, additional information in the gunpowder. Gunpowder is created through accident. Samtang nagamix sila sang sulfur, charcoal, potassium nitrate with a certain proportion, dito nila nahibaluan nga once i-mix na ang tatlo with certain proportion, nag-explode siya. So, amo na sa nga na-create ang aton nga gunpowder. Also, the gunpowder changed style of wars and ended the Steel Age era. Okay, next and last among the four great inventions is the printing tools. Chinese began to use woodblock printing in 7th century where the text is carved into wood blocks which are then ink. A blank of sheet paper is placed over the ink blank so that the image can be transferred to the paper. 11th century, movable type was invented by Baixing. I-correct ha, it's not Baixing but Baixing, who created characters out of glaze which he fixed to an iron plate with pine resin wax and ashes. After the plate cooled, he inked it and pointed. They also invented iron plow. Earliest iron plow found from about 500 BC. It was a flat V-shaped piece mounted on wooden poles and handles. Ginagamit nila sa pagkalaro. In the 3rd century, it was developed and it was called Quan. Next is wheelbarrow. Earliest evidence of Chinese wheelbarrow is found illustration dated around 100th century during Han Dynasty. It had a single wheel at the front of the load, and the operator holding the handles carried about the half of the weight. It usually used to carry the goods and the foods. We also have propeller. Chinese civilization used the first propeller as a water lift. Next, also they developed a design of different models of bridges like stone arch bridge, zigzag bridge, cross bridge, and pavilion bridge. First bridge record in Chinese history is a boat bridge over the river of Wisho. First record of stone bridge is a stone arch in Han Dynasty. They also invented the seismograph. It is an horn-like instrument which would drop one of the 8 balls to indicate when in which direction the movement of earthquake had occurred. It is used or built to detect earthquakes. It is a giant bronze used vessel resembling a summoner 6 feet in diameter, its dragon snake face down along outside of the barrel, marking primary compass direction. Each dragon's mouth was a small dragon bull, the laws of the copper toads with mouth upraised. Dry dock facility used for construction, maintenance, repair of ships, boats, and other watercraft. Next, in the field of astronomy. Chinese people also contribute many records in astronomy. They were the first to record observation of supernova in 1054. They recorded gas star in the White Tiger of the West, or the Taurus, which outshone Venus. It remained bright for a year. The supernova remnant is today's Crab Nebula. On lunar and solar eclipse, Daming calendar is also created between 3rd to 4th century, designed by Zhu Jungzi. It is the most lunisolar calendar, measuring the number of times that the sun and moon overlap, proposing 27.21223 times. Using this number, he successfully predicted an eclipse 4 times during 23 years. On comets, first to record the sighting of Halley's Comet. It was recorded in Chai Chi and Wen Shen Chung Kao Chronicles in 2260 years. They also observed heavenly bodies to understand weather changes and seasons that may affect their activities. In ancient China, when people had no satellites, they relied on their direct observation experiences. And through years of observation, they accumulated knowledge of relation between clouds and the weather changes. For example, thick and dense clouds in summer often herald the coming of heavy rain. Castle-shaped cloud also foretells the coming of a storm. Cloud that look like scales indicates a nice day coming. They knew if there was a rainbow in this western sky in the morning, it would rain soon. China made substantial contribution in various fields. The list of their discoveries and inventions are overwhelming, as you can see. This contribution, along with mathematics like decimal points, abacus, the calculator that uses sliding beads to help compute math problems, logic, philosophy, medicine, is quite a lot. But due to cultural factors, development of modern science is prevented. But according to Needham, it may have been that the religious and philosophical framework of China's intellectuals that made them unable to accept ideas of law of nature. Additional information: Noel Joseph Terence Montgomery Needham was born on December 9, 1900 and died on March 24, 1995. He is a British biochemist, historian of science and sinology, is known for his scientific research and writing of the history of Chinese and science and technology, initiating publication of multi-volume Science and Civilization in China. When we say law of nature, philosophy of science, stated regularity in relation or order of phenomena in the world that holds under a stipulated set of conditions, either universally or a stated proportion of instances. That's all. Thank you, everyone.